Hey everybody, Rosemary here, and welcome to part 84 of my Umineko Let's Play. Last episode was insane, absolutely insane, crazy, and very interesting. So we did see the aftermath of the siblings solving the epitaph. And I had a feeling that, like, after the jubilation of, getting the gold, everything is finally looking up for them. They have all the money they could possibly need. Eventually, money being the root of all evil, eventually they were going to start arguing over it about the cuts. And, instead of just being able to work things out, they ended up getting into a fight, and it went so much worse than I could have expected. Ava and Hideyoshi accidentally killed Kraus and Natsui with the guns. And in a shocking twist, because I thought, oh my gosh, this is what actually happened on Rokenjima. This is the massacre. So I thought Ava was going to end up, killing everybody. But no, out of nowhere, Kyrie ended up killing Rosa and then Ava. So now Rudolph and Kyrie are the two left standing of the adults, and on top of that, I was thinking, no, there's no way that they're going to kill the children. No, they totally are going to kill the children, and Kyrie was even saying that she's going to kill Badler if he doesn't cooperate and go along with their story. Knowing Badler, his sense of kind of justice and his love for his family, I don't think he's going to stand for it. So this is certainly not what I was expecting, but it's very, very interesting. So I'm guessing this is some sort of alternative timeline where Angie wished for her family to come back. So maybe this is the world where Rudolph and Kyrie kill everybody and Badler goes back with them and she gets to be with her family like she wanted. I have no idea, but I'm super excited to find out what's going to happen from here. So I've been talking long enough. Let's get back into it. Let's see what happens next.
Test? 何をする気だよ。この時間に?
Okay, so a test. So this is this was the test that was in which was it, chapter 4? It was the love trials where it was Kinzo, quote unquote Kinzo, that was calling them to do the test, but we know he's dead. So holy crap. So in this one, Rudolph and Kyrie are luring out George and Jessica and Maria, I'm assuming, and murdering them. Because Badler was the last one left alive, right? To see when he saw Beatrice. Badler yelled wildly into the receiver. When he said, "At this time of night," George and Jessica turned to look. According to the clock, it was past midnight. It might be a normal time to be told to brush their teeth and go to bed, but they couldn't understand what this test was all about. This is wild. It's like they're mashing together a couple of the different stories into this one. Because, yeah, the one where Ava killed everybody, that was, or I assume Ava killed, if not most people, that was, I think, episode 3. And this, I believe, is episode 4 with the trials.
うちの親父から。もしもし、変わりました。
I think the love trials was a different one. This was the one about the test. I think this one was episode 4.
ジョージです。
Let's see who would be the new head of the Ushurmiyas.
おう、ジョージ君か。こんな時間にすまねえな。
I still can't get over how cold Rudolph and Kyrie were. I mean, I know that they're not perfect people and Kyrie had a dark side, but I didn't think that they would go so far as okay, maybe the siblings, because especially Rudolph has some maybe deep-seated resentment towards some of them, but to kill their nieces and nephews, so I don't know, so blasé about it.
寝てたわけじゃねえだろ。みんなでいろいろ盛り上がってたんだろ。
そんなところです。マリアちゃんは寝てて。いや、目が覚めたみたいです。それで、何の話ですか?
And even little Maria, it's never good to gun down your family, but a little an 8-year-old, that's so cruel.
バトラ君はテストとか言ってましたけど。
ん？ああ、親父にも困ったもんさ。 さっき唐突に上から降りてきてな、いろいろあった挙句、どの孫が次の当主にふさわしいかなんて話に急になっちまってよ。
次期当主はクラウスおじさんなのでは。
俺たち4人はみんな次期当主失格だとよ。それで俺たち親をすっ飛ばして
And the funny thing is, like, that's
孫から次
something
期
I
当
can see
主を
Kinzo
選ぶ
doing.
なんて話になっちまったわけさ。急な話で俺たちも大いに荒れてる。向こうで兄貴たちはケンケンガクガクやってるぜ。姉貴の金切り声が受話器越しにも聞こえねえか。
It's just like knowing that he murdered, like, at least some of their parents is just, and talking about them like they're still alive. Like, he literally, well, Kyrie killed his mother.
そうですか。おじい様がおっしゃることなら仕方がないですね。それで僕たちはどうすれば。
ジェシカちゃんから順に一人ず
Oh my
つ
gosh.
呼び出しがあるそうだ。
Marching them to their death.
ちょっと待ってくれ。
Are they gonna show it in detail about, like, just the surprise being betrayed by your uncle and aunt?
ああ、もしもし。トップバッターはジョージ君とジェシカちゃんだそうだ。ジェシカちゃんは屋敷の客前、ジョージ君は礼拝堂の前まで行ってほしいそうだ。
いきなりのことで心の準備が全くありませんが、テストって何ですか？
親父のやつめ、おかしなクイズみたいなものを作ったみたいだ。当主の心構えとは何ぞやみたい。
Of course, George felt as though something wasn't right. However, Kinzo was famous for doing radical things on a whim. Even this strange test seemed plausible once he heard it was a sudden idea of Kinzo's. But even in that case, if he wanted to test them one by one, why wouldn't he call them out one by one? Like an interview, they should just have to wait in the reception room and go when they were called. Why would two people be called to different places at the same time? The plan didn't seem to make sense, which made George feel as though he was missing something. And he's got good instincts, and
し
give
かし
him that.
なんだってジョージ君は礼拝堂前なんだろうな。
Man, if only, like, you know, maybe it was Shannon, although at this point if Shannon is Beatrice, then she got gunned down as well. But, like, if, you know, the other servants, like Kurosawa or Goda, Genji, you know, maybe they could hide the children away in, like, a secret place, because the thing is, like, I know that... Well, actually, no, Rudolph grew up in this house, so he'd probably know all the little nooks and crannies, places where they could hide, but if they could just hide out for a couple of days until rescue came, maybe they'd make it.
じい様が特に要望してる。よくはわからねえが、二人きりで話したいことがあるそうだ。
おじい様が僕に？
何の話だろうな。ジョージ君は孫の中で一番優秀だからな。何か特に話したいことでもあるんじゃねえか。ま、とにかくそういうわけだ。すぐに移動してくれ。礼拝堂の方には俺も行くことになってる。さっさと済ませようぜ。お互い風邪をひいちまうわ。
そうですか。わかりました。では僕は礼拝堂の前、ジェシカちゃんは客前。はい。それでは後ほど。
Oh man, if only they knew. Just what sort of test, what sort of private conversation could Kinzo want to have at this time of night? However, it was a well-known fact that Kinzo didn't have very long to live. It was conceivable he had some last words for each of his individual descendants. Inside George's mind, that faint feeling that something was wrong was replaced by curiosity, and a desire to meet Kinzo directly and hear the details. George set down the receiver and quickly explained to the others.
聞いたの通りだよ。おじい様が僕たち全員に何かのテストをしたいと言ってる。
テスト？何年かぶりに書斎から出てきたと思ったら、こんな時間にテストごっこかよ。
Now, I don't remember about George, but like with Jessica, this seems kind of... Well, except, you know, in the love trials, George fought his mother. But like with Jessica, she had the encounter with Kyrie, so I'm guessing if Rudolph is going to meet with George, and Jessica's going to meet with Kyrie.
たくじいさまめ、何を考えてやがんだ。
それに関しては僕たちの親も同感のようだよ。かなり揉めてるみたいだ。
揉めたところで じいさまには勝てないんだろうけどな。
そういうことだね。仕方がない。
Like, I feel like Battler's gonna die too, because, like I said at the beginning, there's no way once his parents explain what they've done that he's gonna go along with it. He's gonna be, like, he already still has some animosity towards his father, maybe a little bit towards Kyrie as well, so to hear that they massacred his family that he loves, you know, he's not gonna go with it. I can imagine Kyrie just shooting him point blank. I imagine that would be quite awkward for Rudolph and Kyrie afterwards if, like, she just shot Rudolph's son.
当主様の命令だからね。従おう。まず最初は僕とジェシカちゃんが呼ばれてる。僕は礼拝堂へ。ジェシカちゃんはお屋敷の客前だそうだ。
俺とマリアは
追って連絡があると思うよ。ここで待ってて。
真夜中のテストなんだろう。どんなテストだろう。クイズ？パズル？マリア、狼と羊のパズルなら得意。
Maria, who is now fully awake, seemed to be very excited about this unexpected midnight test.
じゃあ俺たちは留守番してるぜ。
うん。じゃあ行ってくれよ。もう待ってるみたいだし。
次期当主は孫の誰かにね。私には好都合だぜ。誰かに押し付けるチャンス。
マリア、次期当主になりたいなりたい。
マリアが次期当主ってのも悪くねえぜ。
And, like, the kids just don't seem to care. I mean, George maybe a little bit because he's been set up to, like, have high expectations from his parents, but, like, Jessica's obviously, she doesn't give a shit. Battler doesn't really care about the Ushumiya name. And, I mean, Maria's just a kid, so it's just like, they don't have the stakes to it. If only they were the ones who solved the riddle. The kids would have been able to figure it out. Like, they would have divided up equally. They probably would have made George the successor, and all would have been fine.
また後で。
Not to say the kids aren't perfect. They've got their issues, but they're not as fucked up as their parents are. But then again, they didn't have Kinzo raising them as their parents, so... Rudolph put down the receiver and stood up. Now, what about the servants? Have they taken care of them yet?
俺は礼拝堂前か。冷えそうだな。ゴーダさん、戻ってきたら。
Oh.
熱いコーヒー
must
の
be
用
holding
意
him
を頼むぜ。
hostage. Or not. Next to Rudolph, Godo was lying face up. His face was covered by a crossword puzzle book. Literally, as I say, I wonder what happened to the servants. Well, however, his pages were stained with blood, and there was no need to move the book to imagine how he had met his pitiful end.
どう？いい脚本だったでしょ？
ああ。親父に感謝だぜ。親父の気まぐれってことにしときゃ。誰も疑いやしね
え。じゃあ手分けしていきましょう。私はジェシカちゃんを、あなたはジョージ君を。
おう。手際よく済ませて。
I kind
の
of
んびりコーヒーでもすすろうぜ。
I kind of hate them in this moment. I always thought Kyrie was cool. Rudolph was just like, you know, he wasn't bad. He had some moments where I'm just side-eyeing him a little bit, but this is kind of like, there's no coming back from this, that you're gunning down children. Like, at least with Ava and Hideyoshi, it did seem like legitimately it was an accident. I got caught up in the moment. This is calculated. That's the difference.
大丈夫よね。今頃になって両親の呵責とかないわよね。
And again, Ava did apparently, you know, at the end of episode 3, it was pretty heavily implied that she shot Battler. So, I mean, maybe Ava's not much better, but Ava definitely seems more the type to, like, go based off emotions. And she even broke with reality for a little bit, you know, when she becomes the witch. But these guys, they are, like, I feel like they're definitely of sound mind. Kyrie smiled coldly. It probably would have been safer to call them out one by one and finish them off together. However, Kyrie had chosen to have her husband work separately. She wanted to measure Rudolph's resolve. Oh, so she's testing him too. Ooh, to see maybe if he's, like, worth keeping around. Maybe if he shows some hesitation, she'll be like, fuck it, I'll kill you too. She was the only one who got her hands dirty, and Rudolph watched. His heart would not be as dedicated to this venture. By having him dirty his own hands, she could make him truly determined to see this thing through. Damn. She is cold-blooded. Kiri understood this sort of mind game better than anyone else. Rudolph reflexively averted his gaze from the cold glint in her eyes, but then he just shrugged and answered her question.
当たり前だろ。10億の金が手に入るかどうかの瀬戸際にいるんだ。俺も男だぜ。人生に二度とないチャンスを棒に振るつもりはねえさ。
Maybe Curie will even test Rudolph to see if she'll, like, if Badler, you know, goes against them, if he'll kill him.
それでこそルドルフさんよ。私はここ一番のチャンスを逃さない人が好き。そんなあなただから私は好きになったのよ。
おう、嬉しいぜ。
ルドルフさん。
なんだよ。
ずっといてね。
え？なんだって？
ずっと。
Will stay.
私の好きなルドルフさんのままで
Oh, she's
い
scary.
てね。
当然だろ。俺がいつお前を失望させたよ。お前はそんな心配より祝杯をあげる時のシャンパンの銘柄でも迷ってろってんだ。
そうするわ。いい？バトラ君が大事なら礼拝堂前でジョージ君をやっちゃダメよ。死体を見つけられたら面倒でしょ。
ああ、分かってる。その辺にうまく誘い出すさ。雨の屋外だ。どうとでもなるさ。
西部劇の悪役じゃないんだからね。メイドの土産とか最後に言い残すことはとかそんなことやっちゃダメよ。
Damn. Oh, she's just like, yeah, don't even give him a chance to, like, plead his case, just gun him down. Kiri lifted up her gun again and pulled on the lever to eject the casing from the bullet she had killed Goda with. Wait, what? Wait, she's alive? What? What? Okay. Well. Well, the plot just thickened. This might end up actually being how things went. Ava. Oh, shit. Oh, it's bad enough that they killed, Hideyoshi. But, like, when she finds out that they killed George, oh, she will be on the warpath. Oh, yes, I think this is it. This is actually what happened. Damn, Ava, she's badass. She literally got shot. Maybe she played dead? Maybe the bullet just grazed her, and she just played dead? Ava was holding Hideyoshi's body and crying, because she doesn't seem to be any worse for wear. I mean, physically. She hadn't been shot at all. The bullet had grazed the side of her head and missed. Oh shit, this is like the gun down between Cannon and Shannon, where I think Shannon just played dead like she got. I can't believe... Oh, Rudolph and Kyria, you didn't do your due diligence. You should have checked to make sure, double tap. They didn't check to see, like, if there was any blood, if there was a wound. They just assumed, and that's gonna come bite them in the ass. She's coming for them. She hadn't been playing dead. She really had thought she'd been shot. Okay. When Kiri's gun spat fire, Ava felt something swift and fierce scrape past her head before feeling lightheaded and fainting. Okay, I thought maybe she was just like, alright, smart move on her part, but... Then later on, she woke up in the now silent room of the gold. The corpse of her beloved husband lay beside her, along with the corpses of Kraus, Natsui, and Rosa. It was a room of death and piled up bodies. When she had cried all she could over Hideyoshi's body, she realized she still had something she needed to do. Oh no. She's not going to be able to save him. Oh, I can't wait for the confrontation when she sees them, though. Oh, shit. Like, Ava was annoying me in the last episode, because, like, she was really, she was getting everybody worked up more than they needed to be worked up. But right now, I am on her side to be like, get it, girl. Get them. They're trying to use the bomb to blow up everything, to bury this whole island with an explosion accident. I mean, that was kind of your idea. Ava was the one who thought of that idea, funny enough. Ava checked the clock and was proven right. As expected, the switch was set to the right, which meant it was active. Ava moved to flip it to the left and stopped. That's right. As long as the switch points to the right, everything that happens on this island will disappear into a night of illusion. Yes, this is an illusion. No matter what happens tonight, everything will become muddled and hidden away.
あいつらはきっと残りのみんなを殺すわ。そうに違いない、絶対に。
When she looked at the table with the box of bullets, she saw signs they had grabbed several large handfuls of bullets from the box. It clearly showed that they planned to use that many bullets. I have to fight, if only to protect just the life of my precious son. The gun I dropped when I was shot is stuck with the lever handle open. No matter how hard I pull, it won't open any further, and it won't close again. A bullet must have gotten jammed and broken it. It's just as Kyrie said, loading a bullet is tough if you aren't used to it. So she's going in without a working gun? Damn.
力を貸して。ジョージを守るために力を貸して。
In Hideyoshi's hand was Krause's gun, which he had been trying to pick up. Ava took it, prayed to her husband one more time, and tugged on the lever handle. With a light metallic sound, the gold casing spun through the air and bounced off the ground. When she timidly tried to push the lever back, this time it returned to its original place without any resistance. There was another metallic clank. It was the sound of a new bullet being loaded. Yeah, I want to see Angie's reaction to all this, like...
そんなことだろうと思ったわ。
Right? Are they muddling it? Is this actually how it happened? Or are they just, showing a dramatic version of it to get under Angie's skin that her family could be this cruel?
私にとって一番胸くその悪いゲームを見せて。
I want to believe that's the case, but
魂胆ね。
I don't know. I'm having a feeling this might have actually how it went down. In the game so far, various people had been suspected of being the culprits or an accomplice. The only difference now was Rudolph and Kyrie were those suspects. However, that was the most aggravating development possible for Angie. It could be. The witches could be doing this to piss her off. But I don't know. Even Leon was full of painful thoughts. They had been lucky enough to solve the epitaph, which was the only miracle that could lead to a game with no victims. And that was the thing. There didn't have to be any victims, but there were anyway, just to make it that much more disheartening. How ironic that they were unable to prevent the tragedy. Does this mean we aren't allowed to have a future where we all happily return from this island alive, even if the epitaph is miraculously solved before the crime occurs? There will be absolutely no miracles. I recalled those words, which I had heard in one of the fragments Bernkastel had shown me.
ベルンカステルさん、あなたは私にこの世界の素晴らしさを教えてくれた。そんなあなたがエンジェを傷つけるためだけにこんな物語を紡ぐとは信じてくれない。
Angie's like, nah, that's totally something she would do.
ゲームマスターがあなたであることはもう私にも分かっているんです。教えてください。どうしてあなたはこんなゲームを私たちに見せるんです。
She did say at the end of the last episode or the last chapter that the next game was there's going to be no love, tear the guts out, and this is the cruelest game. Like at first it seemed great, like oh my gosh, like Claire, she resting in peace, the epitaph was solved, everything seemed to be good, and then there's this. Of course, no one answered Leon's muttered question. The game created to mock Angie continued emotionlessly, with more terrible twists that didn't betray anyone's expectations anymore.
好きに最悪のゲームを繰り広げればいい。猫箱の中の無限の可能性の中の一つだと言いたいんでしょ。好きになさいよ、好きに。
Maybe that will be the revelation, was just like, oh, you think this was, a made-up game? This is actually what happens.
私はこんなことではくじけない。1986年10月5日の真実をいつか必ず暴いてやるんだから。
After meeting Kyrie in the parlor, Jessica was told the test would be held in the dining hall, and she followed Kyrie there.
誰もいねえぜ、キリエおばさん。
すぐに来るわよ。そこに座ってて。
Jessica sat in that chair, looking nervous and agitated. Kyrie was by far the calmer of the two. Kyrie closed the door behind her, revealing the gun that rested behind it. Jessica was facing the other way, so she saw nothing. I hope at least, I hate to say it, but I hope Jessica at least gets shot from behind and, you know, can't even see what's gonna happen to her.
どんなテストか。
ええ、すぐに終わるわね。
そうだといいんですけどね。
As she complained, Jessica turned her head around and the tip of her nose bumped in a cold metal. Well, so much for that. Well, that was quick. I mean, Curie said no last words, no chances to let them speak. We'll see if Rudolph is going to do the same.
何をするんですか？
後ろから撃つのはどうにも性に合わねえ。
Mr. Oh yes, he's such a gentleman, right? That would be cowardly.
危ないじゃないですか。一体何の真似です？
銃口を向けて引き金を引くってのは他に何の真似があるってん
Curie'd be
だ。
getting out of his case. You're talking too much. Just shoot him. There we go. Rudolph reloaded rapidly and pulled the trigger again without any sign of hesitation. As the sound of gunfire thundered through the rain, George grabbed at his side and fell to his knees.
おかしいね。やっぱり狙いより下にずれるぜ。この銃。癖がひでえな。
Poor George. At least Jessica was over quick.
助けて！ルドルフおじさんが！
George started stumbling away, still clutching at his side. His voice as he called for help was weak and thin. Behind him, Rudolph looked perfectly calm as he fiddled with the gun and inspected the sights.
痛い。
His gouging pain in George's side tormented him. It was so painful he could barely stand and walk. He leaned against the trunk of the tree. After he crouched down, trying to cover his wound, he was no longer able to stand back up. George didn't have a clue what was going on. However, he had thought it strange the whole time. Of course it was strange he should be called out to a place like this at a time like this. And yet, how could he have guessed that something was wrong? After all, his own uncle had told him his grandfather was calling for him from their family conference. How could he have gotten suspicious?
悪いな、ジョージ君。痛えか？これなら背後から脳天をズドンとやった方が慈悲があったよな。何もわからねえうちにズドンじゃあまりに無慈悲かと思ったんだが。
I was really? I was like, I would think it would be the opposite.
どうやら逆だったらしい。
どうしてルドルフおじさん、あんなに優しかったおじさんがどうして？
このことは忘れろ。明日の夜には全てなかったことになってるから。
With a quick use of the lever handle, he loaded another bullet. The casing of the bullet that had pierced George's side fell heartlessly in front of him.
突然の不幸な事故でみんな死んじまうのさ。その瞬間まで俺たち親族は仲良くやってたのさ。そうなるんだ。だからこいつは気にするな。忘れろ。
I love the difference between Rudolph and Curie. Rudolph can't stop talking, and Curie was just like, boom, done. Of course, George didn't have a clue what Rudolph was talking about. All he knew was Rudolph wanted to kill him, and that he showed no trace of hesitation. The image George had of Rudolph was the ideal, cool, joke-loving adult. It didn't match up with Rudolph standing in front of him, holding a gun. No, maybe it didn't fit because it fit too well. Even though there was a gun in his hands, Rudolph had a huge smile on his face, as though he was about to tell some hilarious joke. Why would that kind, funny Uncle Rudolph do this? It made him feel unimaginably sad, and tears flowed from his eyes.
ルドルフおじさん、あなたのこと憧れてたのに。
いつも言ってたろ、ジョージ君。俺みたいな大人になっちゃダメだぞって。つまりはそういうことさ。来世では悪党を見抜く目を最初に養うんだね。ジョージ君ならできるさ。何しろ勤勉なんだからね。
Charge complete.
Oh, George. Oh, I know he's still gonna die, but I appreciate the fact he's not going down without a fight. Fighting down the pain in his side, and summoning the last of his strength, George threw his whole body into a roundhouse kick. At the same time, fire spat from Rudolph's gun. The bullet pierced George's chest. George twisted and fell as blood gushed from the wound. He moaned wordlessly, clenching blood-stained teeth. The frigid gun was pressed harshly against his temple.
アバよ、来世でも立派な男になれよ。俺みたいな金に目がくらむ外道にはなるな。
ルドルフおじさんがお金で人を殺すなんて信じられない。
Rudolph's like, then you haven't been paying attention.
純真だ。殺せるんだぜ。金で人を。
The ruthless trigger forestalled any further questions. George's hands, which had been covering his wound, dropped lifelessly. After Rudolph saw the last glimmer of life leave him, he let out a deeply exhausted sigh he'd been holding back for some time. Rudolph looked up into the dark, rainy sky, the raindrops hitting him full in the face, and laughed with an indescribable expression, his tongue hanging out. Chuckle, chuckle, gahaha. Rudolph started laughing. This was probably just the thing Kyrie had hoped for. It had taken some effort to kill George. Though he had been merciless, the last traces of conscience in Rudolph's heart had probably slowed him down. However, now that he had killed someone with his own hands, the turning point that few people ever reach, Rudolph had finally awakened. That implies that the fact that Kyrie had no hesitation to shoot Rosa implies that she has killed before. And she said she didn't kill Azumu, but, I mean, who knows? No, he finally understood.
バカから金を絞り取るのと全く同じことさ。いつもの石取りゲームじゃねえか。目の前に金の山があったら早いもん勝ち。遅いやつは蹴落とされて地獄行きってわけさ。
I've scammed a dozen of unfortunate saps and buried them in debt. Yeah, you gotta, like, you know, Rudolph seems like a cool guy, but then you have to think, yeah, he's a bastard when you remember what he does for a living. Several of them probably ended up bankrupt, and some of those might have hanged themselves. And I always laughed, saying it wasn't my problem. That's all there is to it. The only difference now is that, for the first time, I've dealt the final blow with my own hands.
ありがとうよ、キリエ。いつもお前は俺の心の甘えを断ち切ってくれるよ。
Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait for Ava to get his ass. I feel like this is kind of the first moment that Rudolph really had to show, like, Kyrie and Rosa and Ava have all had their moments where, like, you could see the real darkness in them. But Rudolph, for the most part, has been, like, there's been hints of it. But yeah, this is just like, wow, he's an asshole, irredeemable right now in my eyes. Rudolph's evil laugh rang out. The laugh was so purely evil, it was almost refreshing. Evil that still had a conscience and still thinks itself good is far more repulsive to behold. If a man commits himself to an evil act, how much more pleasant and graceful it is when he's honest about his intentions. In that sense, Rudolph's evil smile and laugh truly were pleasant and graceful. And so, surely the brutal, bloody stage of the dining hall was also refreshing. A clang, a thud, a crack, a squish. A strange mixture of these sounds kept repeating over and over at the same tempo. Is that Kyrie, like, murdering, Like, she's already shot Jessica. Is she just, like, dismembering the body? Like, what's going on here? Each time, a red splash landed on the nearby dangling tablecloth.
Jessica-chan.
Jesus, Kyrie. I thought maybe she was just gonna, like, take her out. You know, like, bam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But she's toying like a cat toying with a mouse. Is Jessica still alive at this point? Kyrie asked this with some sort of smile any aunt might make to her niece. However, Jessica didn't answer. There's nothing particularly surprising about this. After all, by now, her nose was broken, her eyes had been smashed, her teeth had been knocked out. Jesus, I thought Jessica, like, oh, well, at least, you know, she kind of got a relatively unceremonious, like, quick death, but nope. Not just her nose, but her entire face was now hardly recognizable as a face, just a lump of bloody flesh. Damn, did Kyrie have something against Jessica, or is this just how she be? Kyrie finally stopped her task of repeatedly smashing Jessica's face with the stock of her gun. Still sitting on top of Jessica, Kyrie tossed her gun to the side, pulled a compact out of her pocket, and looked at her own face in the mirror. And finally, she realized that her face was covered by speckles of fresh blood. Damn it, I liked Kyrie too, and I'm like, after this, oh, I kinda hate her. This is exactly probably what Bernkastel wants. Like, I'm praying that this isn't actually how it went down, because I'm like, oh, I'll never be able to think of these characters the same way again if this is how it actually went. This has to be like a dramatized version of it, or something that didn't actually happen. Please, I beg. With a muffled laugh, Kyrie shakily rose to her feet. Jessica wasn't moving anymore. She'd been convulsing a bit until a second ago, but now she was as still as stone. Okay, well, so that's about what I predicted. I'm like, yep, Kyrie's got a history. Aw, Jessica. Of course Jessica didn't go down without a fight. Kyrie pulled the tablecloth off and used it as a towel to wipe the blood from her body. However, instead of taking the blood off, it just smeared it around, and did nothing to remove the stench of blood and death that covered her. When she got tired of smearing blood over the tablecloth, Kyrie walked over to the extension telephone in the corner of the room. Then she dialed the number for the cousin's room in the guest house. Oh god, Kyrie! She's gonna take care of Badler. Oh my goodness. That's where Rudolph is. Is she intentionally sending Badler over to Rudolph to be like, alright, time to really test your resolve? The same smile as usual, and the partly wiped splashes of blood still covering her face, Kyrie finished her call to Badler. When she set down the receiver, there was a small knock, and Rudolph came back into the room.
Oh, Jessica-chan, 思ったより反応のいい子でね。まさかあそこで払いのけられるとは思わなかったよ。この死にざまじゃ、むしろお気の毒としか言えんな。夏日姉さんにのいい女が台無しだぜ。そっちは手こずらな問題なしだ。ちょろいもんさ。
When Kyrie heard Rudolph's instant response, she favored him with an evil smile. Yes, the man she loved was the sort who could do whatever he put his mind to, without letting cheap emotions get in the way.
愛してるわ、ルドルフさん。そうでなくっちゃ。
これで日当が10億出るならちょろい仕事じゃねえか。親父がよく言ってたぜ。男は人生で一度人を殺す覚悟を持って臨む日が訪れるってな。
常に相手を殺してでも生き残る覚悟を持ってよね。お父様の言葉の中で一番好きな言葉よ。
お次はどうする？俺のライフルは血を求めてる。
You're gonna be like Badler.
次は大仕事よ。バトラ君の説得。
おっと、そうだった。こいつは面倒だ。引き金引かずに終わりたいもんだ。
Oh my gosh.
私は気に入ってるのよ。エンジェとの3人家族の生活。
Oh my god, literally, she's like, I mean, she said it as much. She's like, I give no shits if Badler is gonna be with us or not.
でも、どうしてもそれにバトラ君を加えたいというなら、 頑張ってね。
おう、グーの音も言わせねえつもりだ。大丈夫。うまく騙すシナリオも用意してるさ。
頑張ってね。私もできることならエンジェの大好きなお兄ちゃんが爆発事故に巻き込まれないことを願ってるわ。
分かってるさ。じゃあ俺は礼拝堂に戻るぜ。
ルドルフさん、
なんだ？
バトラ君が納得しなかったら。
分かってる。その時はズドンだ。
He talks tough, but we'll see. Although, I don't know, like, they've been pretty heartless so far. I feel like Angie's right. I feel like this is just the cruelest game for her to see. I want to believe that this isn't actually what they would do or how they are.
バトラ君は私との再婚に抗議して家を飛び出すくらいに行動力のある子よ。中途半端な丸め込み方で後日にいろいろと騒がれたら彼は私たちの命取りになるのよ。
分かってな。俺を信じろ。
もしバトラ君が不信感を持ってると私が判断したなら、その時は私の手で殺す。
I mean, I don't disbelieve her at all.
私の子供じゃないんだから。
Man, I was saying in like some of the videos, I was like, maybe Curie actually is, his mother, but I don't. It doesn't seem like it.
分かってる。だからキリエ、一つだけ約束してくれ。
何？
もしバトラーをうまく丸め込めて島から3人で出られたら。
出られたら？
Maybe he's like, can you accept him?
バトラのことを二度と私の子供じゃないみたいなことを言うな。
Wait.
お前は
Oh!
母なんだから。
What? Holy shit. Okay, well, it's funny. The game loves to do that to me, right? I have like the best timing for saying something and then the game just flips it and then just like, you thought, bitch. You thought.
頼む。
Oh my gosh. Whoa. Why is she so hesitant to like say that he's her son?
いいわ。約束してあげる。
Kyrie shrugged and answered as she loaded bullets.
あなたは礼
I
拝
wonder
堂
what
へ。
Angie's reaction to that's going to be.
私はバトラ君が出て行った頃を見計
Wow,
らっ
that's
て
even crazier
ゲストハウスの連中をすべて片付けるわ。
that she has so much hatred for him or disdain for him, even because that was the thing I assumed because she had that grudge against him because he was Asumu's son. Even after the game said that that wasn't the case, but I thought the wording was kind of weird, so I thought maybe it's like a weird wordplay on it. Maybe Asumu still was his mother. But no, the fact that she's so heartless to him, even though he is her son. Why?
大丈夫か？
Because she does seem to genuinely love Angie. Huh.
そっちこそ。
Maybe it's the fact that Badler, still thought that Asumu was his mother. There had to be a reason why they covered that up. I guess it was an affair baby. I guess like the timelines of it, they didn't want to make him think that Kyrie was his mother. Anyway, that's a whole other revelation. Wow, this episode is dropping a whole bunch of truth bombs here. But can we trust this game? I don't know. Badler left the guest house under an umbrella. He had been called to the area in front of the chapel, just like George had been. Not even half an hour had passed since the time George and Jessica had been called out. Apparently, this test didn't last too long.
クソじじいめ。昼飯にさえ姿を出さなかったくせに、こんな時間にのこのこ現れてテストだとは恐れ入るぜ。引きこもり生活で昼夜が逆転してやがるに違いねえ。
Complaining all the way, Badler strolled off into the rain. Almost immediately, he was swallowed up by the darkness of the rose garden and passed out of sight. And then, Kyrie could be seen coming out from the darkness of the rose garden. Oh, is she just gonna kill him right here and now and not even give Rudolph a chance, or is she just watching to make sure that, like, it all goes well? Oh, her right hand held a gun, her left an umbrella. Her inner pocket contained the master key ring she had stolen from Goda. Her right pocket had a handful of bullets. Her left held a knife she had taken from the kitchen. She was a carefully and perfectly outfitted murderer. Another bolt of lightning struck down from the swirling skies. It lit up only half of Kyrie's face. Her cheek was still covered with Jessica's blood. I want a CG of this. I can see it in my head, but I'd love to see it. Under the eaves, Kyrie folded up her umbrella, smiled, and spoke to no one.
Tadaima, minna.
Is she going in to take out Maria right now? And then there's still Kumasawa and Genji and Kanon. Rudolph could be seen under the eaves of the chapel. And Nanjo, who I always forget about. He had hidden his gun in the nearby shadows and was now smoking a cigarette.
あの単細胞を騙すなんて簡単なもんさ。うまくいかなきゃそれだけの話だぜ。
He glanced over at the place he had stowed his gun. The cigarette smoke began to pleasantly cloud his mind. Badler isn't a kid anymore. He's an adult who can choose his path through life as he pleases. When animals grow up, it's normal for them to leave their group and go on a journey. Humans are the only ones that keep treating them like kids, even after they get big.
こんなことならお前に土下座なんかするんじゃなかったな。
Oh, yeah. It's like Shannon said, why did it have to be that year? If he hadn't come back, maybe everything would have gone okay. Everything would have been normal.
お前を連れ戻して後悔してるぜ。
He puffed out those words, along with the smoke. When Badler came, he didn't intend to voice those regrets of his. Rudolph had already determined to play the part of the evil murderer who kills for money.
遅いな。まだ来ねえのか。
At that moment, he heard the sound of someone stepping on gravel. Maybe Kyrie already took him out. She didn't trust Rudolph. He looked up, thinking Badler had finally arrived, but the sound had come from the direction opposite of them. Ava, yes. Oh, shit. It sucks, too, because she just missed her chance to potentially save George. That they said it had been a half hour. If she'd been a half hour earlier, she could have saved him, maybe. Did she find... Oh, I was gonna say maybe she found George's body, because he killed him around here, right?
姉貴生きてたのか。
残念ね。生きてたわよ。
Oh, shit.
お会いに行くね。でもうちの人はダメだったわ。よくも。
With a face obscured by anger and tears, Ava slowly walked closer, her gun raised. Her husband had been killed right in front of her.
Charge complete.
She probably wouldn't even hesitate. Realizing that a gun, quivering with anger, was pointed right at his chest, Rudolph backed away. As he pretended to back away, he approached the gun he had hidden in the shadows.
落ち着けよ姉貴。その銃を下ろせって。俺だってあんなことを望んだわけじゃない。突然のことで俺にもどうしようもなかったんだ。
It's funny, the same things that Ava was saying.
いい加減なことを言わないで。
As Ava said that, it really had been a half-baked, pointless thing to say. Rudolph would have said anything if he thought it would calm Ava's emotions before she pulled the trigger, which he looked capable of doing at any moment now. Then Rudolph's foot came into contact with his gun.
とにかく話をしよう。もうじきジョージ君も来るはずだ。いやジョージ君、ここだここだ。
Rudolph waved as though George were coming from behind Ava. I don't think Ava's gonna fall for that crap. Let Ava's attention turn in that direction. That idiot. My simple big sister has always been a sucker. Excuse me? I feel like Ava's the smartest of all you guys. Die. Nah, I don't believe it for a second that she's gonna go down. They're not gonna bring her back just to have her die. Gunfire. Then a bit later, the sound of something heavier than rain drip-dropping onto the cobblestone floor. Yeah, I knew it. She wasn't gonna fall for that.
ルドルフ、あんたの小細工なんて昔 からお見通しよ。
The bullet Ava fired had struck Rudolph square in the chest. The bullet Rudolph fired had missed, landing near Ava's feet. So she avoided death twice. Damn, lucky girl. But also very unlucky. She probably wishes that she had just died along with her husband and son, except she doesn't know yet that he's dead. He dropped the gun into a puddle with a splash, staggered backwards, and leaned against the wall of the chapel.
悪党の弾は外れるってのが西部劇のお約束じゃねえか。
Ava dashed up to him, kicked away the gun that had fallen into a puddle, and grabbed Rudolph by the collar.
ジョージはどこ？ジョージは殺させないわよ。
悪いな、兄貴。もうやっちまった。
嘘よ。
向こうの茂みでやった。行けよ。すぐわかる。
Ava, who had said she'd always been able to see through her brother's tricks, also knew that Rudolph's final words, as his consciousness began to fade from having been shot, were not a lie.
よくもジョージを。ジョージを。
An empty shell casing bounced off the cobblestone. The furious gun barrel was pressed against Rudolph's forehead.
撃てよ。それくらいで気は晴れねえだろうが。
Oh, now she's gonna be after Kyrie too. Will she be able to get to Kyrie before Kyrie gets to Maria and potentially Badler? I don't know. Because we know at the end, Ava was the one seemingly who killed Badler, so maybe she figured like... I don't know, I don't think she has any grudge against Badler, but maybe she's like, if everybody else is dead, if I just kill Badler, at least I get all this to myself. A bolt of lightning turned everything white. However, the wall of the chapel was stained blood red. A red splash like a crushed tomato covered the wall behind Rudolph's head. Then, leaving a red trail behind him, Rudolph slid down the wall, sat on the ground, and fell over.
George!
Ava dashed off towards the bushes. She found George's corpse almost immediately, screamed, and broke down sobbing. Rudolph's bloody corpse was exposed to the rain that ran down off the eaves. His eyes were still wide open. A ragged, fist-sized hole had been torn open in the back of his head, exposing its contents to the open air. Inside was minced flesh and bright red jelly. That goop, which looked like someone had mixed it with a spoon, dripped from his eyes, nose, ears, mouth, and the hole in his head. Damn, that's quite the description. Angie clutched at her head, sobbing and moaning. Her father had dirtied his hands with murder over money, and on top of that, he had faced such a cruel end, and Angie had been forced to see his corpse. It was hard to imagine a more painful experience for a daughter to go through. I'm totally fed up with this. It's completely meaningless.
Bernkastelさん、いるんでしょう、どこかに。もうこのゲームをやめてください。何の意味もない。
As if in answer to that yell, a black shadow appeared a few seats in front of them. Or perhaps she had been sitting there the whole time. Maybe we just couldn't see her until we realized she was there. It was without a doubt the back of Bernkastel's head.
ベルンカステルさん。
うるさいわよ。静かに鑑賞できないの？
The witch turned around with bored eyes, as though the two who were yelling were the strange ones.
もうやめてください。この世界が10月4日から5日の間の閉ざされた猫箱の世界だということを私たちも理解しています。
The games are like messages, or maybe more like a roundabout love letter, conveying a single message over several games. But we already understand. We know that endless tales can seep out of the sealed 2-day catbox. And beyond that, I even know the culprit and the motive. That has already been revealed, and it has nothing to do with this game.
猫箱の物語という回を私たちは二人とも得ているんです。だからこれ以上このようなゲームを繰り返す理由はないはずです。もしこれがあなたと私たちのゲームだというなら、私たちはすでに答えを得ている。ゲームは終了していいはずです。
うっさい
Hey,
よあんた。
Long Delta. Haven't seen her in a while.
静かにしろってベルンが言ってんでしょ。
Another shadow appeared in the next seat over, turned around, and scolded the pair.
意味ならあるわよ。見てればわかるわ。
ゲームマスターはあなたですか？
違うわよ。
Okay.
では誰が？まさかクレルが？
見ていればわかるわ。すぐにね。
Alright, implying that this is almost over, I guess.
もう惨劇もクライマックスだわ。生き残るのはどっちかしら。
Bernkastel isn't the game master? Then who is? Could Claire have created this cruel tale? Or are there even more witches playing around with this catbox? Maybe Featherin? They did say that Bernkastel was going to be the game master next time, I thought. Maybe Badler? I don't know. Try to think of who else it could be. I wouldn't be surprised if they introduced at the 9th hour, like, a new witch that we've never seen before. Oh my gosh, this is Maria. This is gonna be... I hope they at least, like, just get it over with. I don't want Maria to suffer. The guest house was wrapped in silence. I would think even Kyrie would hopefully at least, like, not toy around. I mean, Jessica fought back, but Maria won't. But I would hope Kyrie would at least make it quick for the child. There were no sounds. No trace of anyone's presence. No breathing from anyone alive. Okay, it's already been done. There wasn't anything to be heard anymore. If there was a sound, then that would be only the sound of a murderer's feet stepping across the floor. Kyrie slowly passed through the lounge. In her right hand was a gun. In her left hand was a knife. The knife was stained with blood. Wow, she went in with a... Okay, did she kill Badler, perhaps? Did she kill Maria with a knife? I don't know what's... Because, like, to me, a knife is, like, up close and personal. Like, that's something you use. I feel like more if you have a grudge against someone. Why would she kill Maria with a knife? Maybe she killed Badler with the knife. Maria with the gun. I don't know. Leaving behind red tracks like a demon's footprints. Her hands were filled with tools of murder, so she wasn't capable of doing anything but murder. In that sense, at this moment, she was nothing more than a pure and unadulterated murderer. The murderer reached the front door, and then finally she looked down at her blood-stained hands. The hands that carried the tools of death with which she had performed her cruel massacre. At last, the murderer realized she couldn't even open the door like this, and threw away the knife in her left hand. And then when she opens the door, I'm sure Ava's just going to be standing there pointing a gun at her. Then she placed her hand on the door, turned around calmly, and spoke.
ごめんね、みんな。でも安心してね。
Oh shit, the servants were all here too, right? So she just came in and massacred everybody.
数日後、新聞は不幸な事故を掲載するわ。そしてあなたたちは事故の瞬間まで何も知らずに楽しく過ごしていたに違いないと、新聞もニュースも噂する人々も言うでしょうね。それはつまり、あなたたちは10月5日の24時まで楽しく過ごしていたということ。
So said the one who had stained the guest house red.
この時間にはいとこ同士で楽しくはしゃいで夜更かしをしている。そして朝が早い使用人の人は高いびき、遅番の人は日誌でも書いて、あるいはほっと一息を入れてる頃でしょうね。そういうことなの。ここでこうしていると、いとこ部屋での大はしゃぎが聞こえてくるようだわ。
Humans outside the cat box would probably never understood what Kyrie was saying. Only she, shut inside the cat box of the explosion accident, could understand the true meaning of her words. Outside, the rain poured down heavily. Kyrie almost picked up an umbrella, but then stopped suddenly, as if she'd just thought of something. Then she started walking out into the rain, not caring at all whether she got wet or not. Did the murderer not want an umbrella to get in the way of her pointing her gun? Or was she hoping the rain could act as a shower to get the blood off of her? Kyrie stopped walking, as though something unexpected had caught her attention. However, this time, it was no whim of hers. Yeah.
うちの人よくも殺したわね。あら、
She's not even
エ
surprised.
ヴァ姉さん、ショックだわ。あの距離で外してたなんて。
Kyrie's probably kicking herself like, fuck, I should have made sure she was dead.
私も驚いてるわ。まさか自分が生きてたなんてね。礼拝堂裏の地下階段から戻ってきたの？なら、ええ。礼拝堂の前でルドルフにも会ったわ。
Oh shit, does Kyrie know that she probably killed him and she doesn't care?
元気そうだった？ええ。兄弟で久しぶりに仲良く語り合ったわ。そう。
Wow. Damn. She's probably like, well, you know what? The fact that he died just means he was weak.
目立ちたがり屋なのに。
Wow.
ここ一番で頼りない人ね。
Holy shit.
やっぱりあの人は私がいないとダメなのね。
Kyrie had already realized that Rudolph had been killed. However, no trace of urgency or panic rose to her face. Maybe she's just hiding it. Maybe she doesn't want to seem weak. Because, I mean, we know that she loves Rudolph. Like, she fought for him for so long. She just closed her eyes with her usual unconcerned expression. And when she opened them again, she had regained her composed smile.
ありがとう。感謝する。
Oh my god.
これで本当に私が全てを独り占めね。
Jesus. Well, if she said everything to herself, that implies that she did kill Badler.
その服の血は何？あんたゲストハウスから出てきたわね。まさか。ええ、そうよ。今私殺人事件の真っ最中なの。
Oh my god. I'm hating her right now, but I also kind of just respect her. Maybe it's just in fear and awe of her.
殺したの？みんな。マリアちゃんまで。生かして朝を迎える理由がないわ。
See, that's what I said that about Ava. Like, I know Ava was implied to have killed Badler, and maybe she probably did kill Maria and Rosa in the Rose Garden at least. But I don't know. She wouldn't be this blasé like Kyrie is.
朝になれば騒ぎになって面倒になる。
I know Kyrie's just speaking from cold hard like logic, and Ava is probably like she's just panicked and emotional. Doesn't excuse that she still killed probably children. But in this world, she comes off as the better one because she's like aghast at the fact that, you know, they killed a bunch of kids.
無線で島の外に連絡したり、助けを求めたりするかもしれない。だからこれが極めてベストなのよ。チェス盤をひっくり返して考えればね。
the chessboard.
人でなし！金に目がくらんで人の命を奪うなんて。
Kyrie gonna be like, so did you.
あなただって
Yeah.
うまいことやったわ。あれは事故よ。殺すつもりなんてなかった。あんたとは違うの。違わないわよ。もし銃の暴発が起こらなければ、あなたたちはいつまでも口論と取っ組み合いを続けていたわ。
Kyrie's gonna be like, it's because of you firing that shot that all this happened. If you hadn't done that, we wouldn't have had to kill everybody.
そうすればあなたたちも数手遅れで私と同じ答えに行き着いたはず。私は殺人鬼じゃないわ。いいえ。
At least Kyrie, like, she embraces it. She knows who she is, but Ava's still in denial.
なり損ねただけの立派な殺人鬼よ。エヴァ姉さんは暴発に救われただけ。あの幸運がなければ、そして私があなたより先に実行に移さなければ、あなたが私の役をやっていた。それだけはあなたがいくら否定しようとも変わ
Oh
らな
wow.
い。
So Kyrie's just telling her, like, we're not that different. You can act like it.
わけのわからないこと言わないで。
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, we did see it, Ava, in the third game, she did do that, so Kyrie's probably not too far off the mark that Ava's, like, would just have done the same thing if things had been different. On the inside, Ava understood. Back then, she probably had been saved by that coincidental misfire. If the argument had continued much longer, she would have surely grown a desire to kill Kraus and the others, and might even have carried it out. She simply could not deny the existence of that demon deep within her heart. Only the theatergoers knew. They knew she could become a killer in another world. And Kyrie, who did not have the theater-going ability, knew this fact also. Apparently, she really was an extraordinary person. So for some time, Ava could only grind her teeth in silence, still pointing her gun.
私にはわからないわ。あなたも自分のお腹を痛めて子を産んだ経験を持つ母のはず。命の尊さを知らないわけがない。そのあなたがどうしてこれだけのことができるの？
Kira's like, I'm just built different.
子供なんて勝手にできるわ。そういう話じゃないでしょ。子はかすがいって言うわよね。それが何？子は夫をつなぎ止めておくためのかすがいなのよ。ルドルフさんに私のことを認めさせ、あの女から彼を取り戻すためのかすがいだ。
Is that what Badler was? Assuming that, what was the word I'm thinking of? You know, she is the mother, which they have said. That's literally all Badler was. And that maybe that's why she didn't have any emotional attachment to Badler, is because he literally was just a reason to have Rudolph stay with her. Damn, Badler.
でも、ルドルフさんはあなたが殺したわ。だったら。
Oh, so she's like, so I have no connection. Like, I don't give a shit about Badler. What about Angie, though? Because that's his kid as well.
わかるって。どういう意味？私はもう誰かの妻でもないし、母のつもりもないということよ。私は私、キリエ、ルドルフさんが死んだ今、後ろ宮でさえないわ。私は私の得になるように生きる。そうね。ルドルフは死んで、あんたは妻ではなくなったかもしれない。でも。
Oh my god. She literally gonna be like, yeah, what did I just say? Rudolph's dead. That was his kid. I don't give a shit about her. Is this actually how Kyrie, is this actually what she truly believes? Or is this just a twisted game to, like, fuck around with Angie's head? Oh my god, she is. She literally is saying that. She doesn't care about Angie. And Angie has to listen to this. Oh my god. Is she gonna go and kill... Is she gonna, like, go home and kill Angie so she doesn't even have to share the money with her either? I see. Ava might be in denial, but also, like, acknowledge the fact that she could be a murderer if things were different. But I have no doubt in my mind that she truly does love George and would never kill him, no matter what.
私たちって子供が欲しくて結婚したの？違うでしょ？好きな男と一緒に暮らしたいから結婚したんでしょ？そして結婚したんなら。
Oh my god. Literally, she just had anchor babies. Oh my god. Wow. I don't know how to feel right now about this. I want to really believe Kyrie doesn't actually feel like this, but I could also totally see that too. Kyrie kept on speaking emotionlessly, ignoring the falling rain. Her relaxed smile did not falter for an instant. Wow. Wow. So it's just like Angie is a chess piece by the witches and by her own mother, apparently.
私にとってエンジェはルドルフさんの前で良き母を演じるときに必要な駒なだけよ。あんた、それをエンジェちゃんの前で言える？
So I guess I'm trying to think with the timing of it. Would Angie be the anchor baby or was like Badler, the first anchor baby, if she's the mother, it was just like to get him away from... I should know about the timeline by now. But I'm like, if Badler is her son, that was the first instance of her being like, I'm gonna have a kid to get him away from Asumu.
さすがに気の毒だから本人には言わないわ。悪いお母さんを許してねとでも書いて姿をくらますつもり。ローザさんとマリアちゃんを見ればわかるでしょ。ルドルフさんがいない今、エンジェなんて私を縛る鎖なだけ。私は元のたった一人の切り絵に戻り、新しい挑戦。
I feel like this might just be some sort of coping mechanism because she was like obsessed with Rudolph.
ひょっとしたら新しい恋もあるか
Then
もね。
again, maybe she saw it almost like a challenge. It wasn't even about that she loved Rudolph. She just saw it as a challenge to get him away from Asumu.
それでも人間なの。それでもエンジェちゃんの母なの。
It's funny too because knowing how much Ava seemed to hate Angie, and yet Ava's defending Angie more than her own mother.
エンジェなんかしたことじゃないわよ。あんなクソガキ。
Wow.
可愛いと思ったことなんて一度だってないわよ。
I don't know. I refuse to believe this.
あんたって人は。あなただってもう家族ごっこから解放されたでしょ。謳歌しましょうよ。女の自由を。感謝してほしいわ。
No.
ジョージ君も殺してあげたんだ。
Oh, that's it. That's the killing blow right there. Kyrie should know, like, that's like the trigger.
この人でなしが。
Damn, that's a witch laugh right there. Now I really want Ava to win. The two yells and the sound of gunfire thundered across the dark rose garden. Slowly, Ava fell backwards. Oh! What? Then she landed in a puddle, scattering countless drops of water. No, don't have Kyrie win right at the end. Across from her, Kyrie spun around as though dancing. Okay. Beautiful black rose petals scattered around her. They were dark red rose petals. I can't believe Kyrie lost in a gunfire exchange, knowing that Ava probably doesn't have any experience with guns and Kyrie is well trained. As those rose petals sprayed from her throat, she spun around in a circle and slowly crumpled. Then she fell to the ground, sending muddy water flying. The two women had both fired their guns and fallen. However, when the thunder roared, it was only Ava who sat back up. So that's 3 times that she's avoided death. Ava hadn't been shot. Kyrie's intensity had made her fall backwards, but the bullet had once again only grazed her. Ava cursed her good luck. Why couldn't this luck have saved her husband or her son? Yeah, Ava, like, seems to actually give a damn about Angie. And then we know that, like, how cruel she was to her.
あんたは爆発事故で死ぬ。
Oh, now Ava's rewriting it, being like, I won't tell Angie anything of what you said.
そう刻むわ。猫箱の蓋の上に。
Oh, she's talking about the catbox. When Kyrie heard this, blood dripped from her grinning mouth, and she seemed to say something in response. However, her voice came out only as globs of blood from the hole in her throat, not words. Holy shit. Poor Angie, man.
こんなの嘘よ嘘よ。エンジェ、どうか落ち着いて。これはゲームです。あれがあなたのお母さんの本心のわけがない。こんなのゲームマスターがキリエおばさんの駒に言わせてるだけに過ぎません。
But saying that did nothing to calm Angie's sobs. I don't blame her, even if she knows it's just a game. She's been forced to see not only her mother's death, but her mother announcing she was the culprit of a mass murder who didn't even love her daughter. Anyone would sob after hearing that.
ベルンカステルさん、もういい加減にしてください。誰がゲームマスターだろうと知ったことじゃない。今すぐこの無意味なゲームを終わりにしてください。
When Leon yelled this, the theater suddenly went pitch black, swallowed in darkness. However, that wasn't enough to shock Leon. Leon continued to yell Bernkastel's name into the darkness, telling the witch to stop this game. Then a single beam of light shone down upon the stage. There was Claire, the one who had appeared for just a second right before this cruel game began.
クレル、やはりこれはあなたがゲームマスターだったのですか？わからない。
Claire didn't answer. In fact, it looked as though she hadn't even heard. Her eyes were blank and you couldn't tell what she was looking at. I don't think so. This is kind of like Beatrice. When she was like that doll, it wasn't her game. I don't think this is Claire's game. In fact, she was even forgetting to blink. She looked just like a doll. Then another beam of light lit up the side of the stage. Under that light stood Bernkastel. At the same time, though, there appeared to be no one in the audience. A large applause rang out. Bernkastel raised her right hand in response to the applause. She kept doing so until the applause died down.
ベルンカステルさん、やはりあなたがこのゲームのマスターなんですか？
I don't think so either. I'm trying to think of who it could be. Is this maybe Leon's game? I'm just going down all the list of Angie. It could be Angie's game.
私はゲームマスターじゃないと何度言えばわかるの？
ではクレルだというのですか？そんなはずはない。
ええ、そんなはずはもちろんないわ。だってクレルは死んだもの。私たちはその葬儀に立ち会ったはずよ。忘れた？
ではそこに立っている彼女は一体？
死体よ。剥製じゃないわ。だからもちろん中身がある。綺麗な姿で隠しているけれど、内側にはドロドロの腹渡が詰まってる。
When Bernkastel raised her right hand, a light fell on it, and a black, shining scythe appeared there. It was a cold, merciless, and cruel object, like something a classic Grim Reaper might hold.
何をする気ですか？
生きてはそのあがきをめでる。
She's sending her to the Shadow Realm.
死んでは綿をかき出してめでる。
And that's what Bernkastel said that she was going to do with this game, was tearing out the guts.
物語は二度楽しめるのよ。
You know what she did? Oh shit, I just realized she did say she was going to tear the guts out and it wasn't going to be like fanciful and everything. Does that imply that this right here is the actual like way things went down and it's not anybody's game? This is just reality.
それが
Oh.
感激の魔女というもの。
Okay, Witch of Theater going. Okay, so maybe Featherin? Haven't seen Featherin in a while. Bernkastel pressed the blade of her Reaper scythe against Claire's stomach, then slowly slid it across. Then along the line she traced, Claire's dress was sliced open. It was now clear the scythe she held was not a fake one for theatrical use, and it was clear just what she'd planned to do next that made her cruel smile so fitting.
エンジェ、私の声が聞こえる？
聞こえてるわ。
Maybe this is Angie's. Well, no, Angie's game would be her family coming home. So everybody, you know, Ava is still the. That's what's making me think this might be the actual way things went down, is because Ava is the only one seemingly left alive.
私をクズ肉にしたり、本を読ませてみたり、今度は何？この最悪の物語を見せつけて、私を苦しめるわけね。楽しい？ええ、楽しいでしょうね。私も楽しませてもらったわよ。これぐらいで私が値を上げると思った？あんたの悪趣味なゲームにこれ以上 泣き叫んでなんかやるもんですか。
あんたもそしてリオンも二人とも勘違いをしているわ。
Oh shit. I think that is what they are implying, is this is what actually happened, and that would be the thing to break Angie. Because Angie just keeps thinking this as like it's a tale, it's a game.
私はゲームマスターなんかじゃない。この物語も私が紡いだものなんかじゃない。
じゃあそこのドレスの女がゲームマスター。
They're going so much into who's the game master. I think that's that there is no game master.
いいえ、違います。そんなはずはないんです。ならゲームマスターは誰です。誰がこの悪趣味な物語を紡いでいるんですか。
And that's the thing, is the most disgusting tale is potentially what actually happened.
まだわからないの？
何がわからないというのよ。
エンジェ、あなたはわずかな奇跡に全てをかけて身を投げ出してみせたわ。私はその勇気に敬意を表して1986年10月4日からの2日間の世界に招いてあげた。あなたの目的は何だった？家族を連れ戻すこと。それはとても難しいことで、奇跡に愛されなければ到底ありえないことだった。それは覚悟していたわね。
覚悟の上よ。そして私はまだお兄ちゃんもお母さんもお父さんも諦めていない。
諦めないのは勝手。それはあなたのゲームだもの。私は応援しないし干渉もしない。あなたという駒を使ったゲームを私はすでに十分楽しんだし、あなたはもう私にとって用のない存在。
せいせいするわね。ならどうして私はここにいるの？招待したのはあんたじゃないの。
そうよ。招待したのは私。私の駒としてひとときを楽しませてくれた。そのお礼にね。
お礼？魔女式のってわけね。楽しませてもらったわよ、この下道が。よくもお父さんやお母さんをこんなゲームに。
エンジェ、あなたは家族を連れ戻すことを願った。でももう一つ願っていたわ。覚えてる？
覚えてないわよ。
あの日何があったかを知ることよ。
Oh shit! Oh my goodness. That is what this is. This is the events. What happened on Rokunjima on October 4th and 5th, 1986. Didn't Angie leave on her journey with Amakusa because she longed to answer that question?
そうだったわね。それが何？そんな。
Oh shit! Oh shit! Leon realized what Bernkastel was getting at, and because of that, Leon was too shocked to speak. The game master isn't Bernkastel or Claire. Then who is it? That's the wrong question. There is no game master! That could mean only one thing. So all that stuff that happened, the whole thing that Kyrie said about not caring about Angie, them killing people so ruthlessly. Oh my gosh.
Angie.
I desperately wanted to believe that wasn't the case, because I'm just like, I will never be able to look at these people the same way again.
まだわからないの？
This might be another trick, but oh my god.
何がよ。
これが真実なの。
This is the truth.
1986年10月4日からの2日間の猫箱の中身よ。この後、エヴァはクワドリアンで爆発を逃れて生き残るわ。そして猫箱の中身を欲するあなたに最後の瞬間まで沈黙を貫くことで、この真実を永遠に猫箱に閉ざした。
She said it herself. She said, I'll carve this truth on the catbox. So she was still so cruel to Angie, but it must have been because, like, if Angie kept demanding the truth, and Ava, maybe she made herself out to be the bad guy because she didn't want to give Angie the truth that she knew. So, like, Ava was kind of protecting her in a way because she knew it would break her if she knew how her mother thought of her and, like, what her parents did. Oh my god.
言ってるの？
エヴァ一人が生還する。いくら警察が事故だと断定しても、 世間は納得しようとしなかったわ。そして亡き夫に代わり会社を切り盛りしようと張り切れば張り切るほどに敵を作り、彼女が壮大な陰謀の女王であるかのようなイメージを作り上げていった。彼女は真実を語りたかったでしょうね。
She like made herself out to be the villain because she really like, I will take this to my grave probably to like protect not just Angie but like her family's name too.
語ったとて証拠もなく誰も信じない真実を、エヴァの心は次第に壊れている。
I can't blame her. Oh gosh, like Ava's such a tragic character, and you have to think too, like how fucked up is that she has to raise the child of the people that killed her family. So I could see how she could have that animosity towards Angie, even if like she didn't intend to, you know, maybe treat Angie with hatred. Like I could see it seeping through.
あなたもエヴァを拒絶し、
Oh man.
エヴァもあなたを拒絶するようになった。歪み切った最後の肉親同士の関係。
Yeah, that just adds a whole thing. Is like I knew there's probably the whole like survivor's guilt plus the, you know, the whole thing about like why Angie survived but her family had to die, but also knowing the truth now about like what actually happened to her family. Oh, Ava. Yeah, she's probably like, why did it have to be Angie and not George? Then a strange message bottle was picked up and became a topic of conversation. It contained a bizarre story, one which told of a mysterious serial murderer related to the gold on Rokonjima. Everyone rejected the explosion accident theory and started to think of conspiracy theories. Some of these theories named Ava as the culprit, which tormented her even more. I mean, Ava's hands aren't completely clean on this, but Ava used even that to create the catbox. And until the moment of her death, she protected it. She protected the lock that held the catbox shut. So no human would ever reach the truth inside the catbox. Not unless the witches who crossed the sea of fragments opened the lock. This is like what Angie wanted, and she's regretting it now.
これが真実よ。嘘よ。嘘よ。嘘よ。これが本当に真実だって言うなら言えるはずだわ。赤き言えるわけない。言えるわけがないのよ。エンジェ、落ち着いて。
Angie writhed with such strength that the chains on her arms and legs looked like they might snap. All over her body, a red, gooey liquid started to seep out. It was as though cracks had opened up all over her, and blood was leaking out of all of them.
何？赤き真実ではっきり宣言してあげた方がいいの？なら言ってあげるわ。
Oh shit.
赤き真実で。
To remove all doubt.
これはすべて真実。
Angie's scream covered up Burn's red truth.
バカな子。私にそれを言わせなければ猫箱の中に封じ込めておけたのに。でもあなたはそう言うわよね。分かってたわ、もちろん。そしてその絶叫に歪む顔が見たかった。100年は思い出すだけで笑えるような素敵な形相だったわよ。戻りなさい、クズ。
Poor Angie. Yeah.
こんなの嘘よね。
As Angie held her head and screamed, the blood dripping from her finally grew so thick that it started scattering all over the place. Then bit by bit, her body began to melt. No, to fall apart. Then bits of her began to pile up on the chair until she was nothing but a pile of guts and scrap. Well, I mean, what else can I say? But wow. I mean, she said she was going to tear the guts out of this story, but it is so disheartening. I mean, I can't compare to Angie and, like, how disillusioned I feel, but it does break my heart to know, like, some of these characters who, you know, I liked, despite their faults, but to know that they are so much worse people than I could have ever imagined. But, I mean, according to the Red Truth, that was all the truth. That is what actually happened. I mean, there's still, I'm sure, some details here and there that were left out, but, I don't know how else to take that. So, anyway, with that, we're gonna wrap up this episode, and next week, I will finally finish Chapter 7. I don't know how much is left. I'm sorry, guys. You probably were hoping I was going to finish it this time, but I'm just lacking in time this. But after I do finish up this episode next week, I do have something I'm going to do that's a little bit different from what I normally do at the end of each completed episode. So I'll let you guys know what my plans are next week for that. But I hope you enjoyed. This was a riveting episode. Fascinating, depressing, sad, shocking, all in one. And man, I hope it ends on a little bit more of a, positive note than this. So stay tuned next week for part 85 and the conclusion to chapter 7. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Until then, bye. Special shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Kaori Makoto, Revealing Storm, Jared Fan, Tequila Mockingbird, Izzy Ibo, Joel Oostman, Asborn Kennedy, Harry Gazif, Icognito, Locus Corollas, Wusing Chrysalis, and Zoran Ether.